Howdy neighbors, welcome back to the channel. I was really happy with the response from the Bluegrass Breakdown Begintermediate level version video. And so we're gonna do that same kind of idea with Rebecca. All right, so this is one of the most popular instrumentals in the jam session world, written by Herschel Sizemore on his Bounce Away album. I just wanna add real quick that he wrote this for his mom, which is really sweet. And really kind of, in a way, like invented its own genre of mandolin playing. And in a way, bluegrass, which is the feel and all the cool stuff, but it's not really easy. And so we're gonna learn a simple version of it here today that you can kind of parlay up with some additional tips and strategies and tactics I'll show you to make it a little bit more advanced. We're gonna start off really easy. So let's start off with the chords. All right, it's got this one little tricky place in it, and you'll hear that as we're going along. It's not completely square. But starting out in B. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. D, D, B, 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 E, B, 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 B. F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, E, 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 B, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the A part. You can see there it's got those 3 4 chords, the E chord before it comes back to the B. Let's try counting it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So it's got 3 beats in the modern count of B before it goes to that little punch of E and comes right back to B. B, 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 E, B, 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 B. So it's got a full bar B after the little punch of the E. Then it goes to the 5 chord, which is your F sharp chord. F sharp, 2, 3, 4. Full bar of F sharp. Then it has 3 beats of E. 1, 2, 3. That's the unsquare part. Then it comes back to B for a full bar. B, 2, 3, 4. So it's a little wobbly there. But it's one of the things that makes it cool. You know, B, 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 F sharp, 4, 4 beats, and B, 2, 3, B, 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 B. Then it starts again. A part goes twice. All right. So the B part starts on the 5 chord. 5, 5, 5, 5. So 4 beats of the F sharp. And it goes to E. 1, 2, 3. That's the tricky part. So we got 3 beats of E, the 4 chord, before it comes back to B. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of like halfway through the B part. It goes back to the 5 chord, F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it has the 3 beats of E. 1, 2, 3. Then it goes back to F sharp. 1, 2, 3. Usually in the jam sessions, people stop right there, but there was not a stop in the original. Herschel was very clear to make that evident, that there's no stop in the original, the way it was composed. But, you know, the way things have happened, there's a stop in it usually. So 1, 2, 3, and then the A part, the head, starts again. B, 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 punch the E, back to B, 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 F sharp, F sharp, F sharp for a full bar, then 1, 2, 3, B, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you can see that every time the E chord comes there, the 4 chord, it's 3 beats. Okay, it's a little tricky. So you can think about it as like A, B, and then one more A at the end would be one way of thinking about it. So I think that it's possible the most important thing is to be able to hum this melody. All right, so you've heard me humming it a little bit. I'm gonna count it and hum it at the same time. And hopefully that's gonna help us download the melody into our hearts, minds, bodies, souls, and spirits a little bit deeper. But before we do, please like and subscribe. And go ahead and hit that little bell there for the notifications, and you'll get all the good stuff from Noya Mountain Music. Thank you. And please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. And also, I just do want to clarify that I said that every time it hits the E chord, the 4 chord, it's 3 beats, but that's except for the one little punch at the beginning. All right, so let's count and hum along. Please hum along with me. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and a 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4. and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. Then you come back into your chopping. All right. So we are getting that melody into our ears. All right. If you can't play it, if you can't hum it, you can't play it. That's not exactly true, but it sure helps, all right, to get that melody where you can hum it, even if you're not on pitch, just to kind of get the shape of the melody with the rhythm is important. And so, again, we're going to be learning a begintermediate level arrangement here. It's a really complicated tune the way that Herschel plays it, but we're going to give you some step ups, some level ups as we're going along, okay? So if you haven't got that melody kind of where you can hum it a little bit, and I know it's tricky with that 3-beat thing over the 4 chord, over the E chord, but just do the best you can with it and it'll get better as we're going along. Let's hum through it one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, going slow. And 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. So one of the advantages of learning a very simple melody like this is once you get the eighth notes, all the downstrokes in the right places, and that's feeling good and it's flowing, then you can start to add your upstroke in there and it'll give it more of a texture. I'm going to explain all this note for note as we get there. We're just trying to get the tune in our head. One other little thing that I want to communicate here is that we're going to be learning a pretty strict, simple version of it. But the idea is that you don't want to have to play it the same way every single time. So some of the notes and the rhythms change. That can be a really good thing. The music wants to live. So let's try humming along, going slowly, as we're adding some upstrokes in here, just to see where you can take this, simple arrangement. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and a 1, and a 2, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and a 3, and 1, and a 2, and a 3. Little fill there, B part, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 1, and a 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and a 2, and 3. Yeah. All right, so let's break this down. So the classic pickup notes, that's kind of how Herschel's playing it. So you can do that, or you can just do something really simple. You can even hit it from the downbeat. You can just hit the 2nd fret of the E. That would be as simple as pie. 1, and a 2, and a 3, and 4, and a... something like that. So you're starting your F sharp and 2nd fret of the E. 1, and you can play this whole thing in a large way with the I Got a Big Dog rhythm. I got a big dog, 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 I got a big dog. Little shuffle there. But if you want to go ahead and get these fancy pickup notes, it'll sound a little bit more like this. Yeah? If that's too much right now, just take it simple. You can just play downstrokes. Now start on your low 5, 4th fret of the D, 2nd fret of the A, 6th fret of the A, and then your downbeat is really going to be the 2nd fret of the E, but you can play the open E and catch your 2nd fret on the upstroke, which is kind of the signature sound of this downbeat. All right, 1 E and a 2. So you got your pickup notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 and a. Okay, so that's your first 2 beats with the pickup notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2. And I'll give you some upgrades as we're going along here. If you want to hit a quick upstroke on the 2nd fret of the A before your downbeat, or before your pickup note of the 4th fret of the D, that's a nice little thing to put on there. All right, so that's your first 2 beats. 1 and 2 and a. Or you just play I got a big dog. I got a big dog. And then they go, I got a big dog. 4th fret of the E, down the 2nd fret of the E, and open E. Da, 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 da. So from the downbeat, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and again, just try to get that melody in your mind. This is part of the way I'm approaching these beginner-mediate video lessons, is that I'll give you something simple, but it's up to you to kind of choose your own adventure with it. That's where the creativity and the stylistic development is going to kick in and start taking place. So you can hit it dead on the 2nd fret. That's as simple as pie. I got a big dog. I got a big dog. I got a big dog. Or you can hit the open E for your downbeat. Whatever you do, just make sure it goes something like dun, diddle, dun, diddle, dun, 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 dun. Or you can have the, All right, so we're getting started here. And 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and when you get to the open E, that's when it hits the E chord. Here's our 2nd bar. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Okay, so you're starting on your major 3rd of B. Doesn't really matter that you know that, just kind of offering that. It's the 6th fret of the A, up to the 2nd fret of the E. Then we'll play our I got a big dog. I got a big dog, which is going to be down, down, up, down, down. If you're not familiar with the I got a big dog, I got a big dog, I got a big dog. You might practice on the scale just to get it in your right hand. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. I got a big dog, I got a big dog. That's splitting the dog. You can just do the whole thing on the one note. I got a big dog, I got a big dog, I got a big dog, I got a big dog. It's a wonderful engine for beginner-mediate mandolin. All right, so we got our beginning. And 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and. Here's our next bar. I got a big dog, I got a big dog. Okay, 6th fret of the A, I, up to the 2nd fret of the E, got a big dog. Back to your 6th fret of the A, I, down to the 2nd fret of the A, got a, and then you'll hit the 4th fret of the D. That's going to be your big, and then come back to your dog on the 2nd fret of the A. All right. I got a big dog, I got a big dog. If that's troublesome, stop the video, work it out, rewind the explanation if you need to. I got a big dog, I got a big dog. So from the top, I got a big dog, I got a big dog, I got a big dog, I got a big dog. Now we're going to go to the F sharp chord. It's going to sound like this. This is one of the trickier little transitions you're going to need to make. You could hit the downbeat of the F sharp bar with your 4th fret of the A. I got a big dog, I got a. But when you go for your big dog on the 2nd half of that bar, you're going to need to come down, make a slight transition so you can hit the 1st fret of the A with your 1st finger. All right. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6, 4, 4, 1st fret of the A, then down to the F sharp note, 4th fret of the D. All right, just get this melody in your mind. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and just loop that till it flows. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 doesn't actually loop in the melody. We're just trying to get some practice on it. All right, so from the top now. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and now here's going to be a little tricky transition to get to your 3 beats of the E chord, which is going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and so it's a little bit like a boogie woogie lick. It starts on the 2nd fret of the D. These are all downstrokes. 8th notes in the modern count. 6th fret of the D. 2nd fret of the A, 4th fret of the A, back to your 2nd fret, and then the 6th fret of the D again. All right, 1 and 2 and 3 and this is coming after this little part. Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. That's as far as we've gotten. All right, let's take it from the top. Play along if you'd like to. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1. As far as we've gotten. That's the 3 beats of the E. And it comes back to the B for a full bar, 4 beats. 1 and a 2 and 3. So you can have this little double stop, 4th fret of the D, 2nd fret of the A. Just do a little shuffle there. 1 and a 2 and 3. So you can have your shuffle, 1 and then 3 more 8th notes. 2 and 3 would be fine. Then you can start your pickup notes again. And 4 and 1. Okay, so if we're coming out of the 3 beats of E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. This is where Herschel does some fancy cross picking. Don't worry about that. If you can kind of get it, you can noodle around with it and figure it out if you want to. But for now, just might keep it simple. 1 and a 2 and 3, and then the pickup notes, and 4 and 1 and a 2. And remember, you can hit that open E and hit your 2nd fret with the upstroke. 1 and a 2 and a, or you can hit the 4th fret a little earlier. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4. And this is our 2nd A. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. And this is the same. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. And here's your 3 beats of E again. 1 and 2 and 3 and you come back to this double stops. Good. Or you can just kind of hang on the 2nd fret of the A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. Or you kind of walk it down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. That would be like a little fill lick coming out from your 6th fret, 4th fret, back to the 2nd fret. So coming out of the E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. So now we're on the 3rd beat. So we'll have some pickup notes into the B part. And 4 and 1. So you'll duck back to the 1st fret of the A for your 2nd pickup note. So it'll be and 4 and there'll be 2, 1, 2, and then the downbeat of the B part is going to start on your 4th fret of the A. All right, so coming out of the E one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 is your downbeat of the B part. Sounds like this. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and so that's the same little lick we were playing over the 5 chord before. This is how the B part starts. So 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and you'll come into your 3 beats of E. 1 and 2 and 3 and then hit your little double stop there. It's going to be a 51 double stop, 4th fret of the D, 2nd fret of the A. All right, if this is a lot, just kind of stop it, take it from the top, review the explanation as many times as you can. Of course, don't write it down. But let's get that pickup note situation back in our mind. And 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3. Okay, so it's got 3 beats of E and then back to the little shuffle over the 1 chord, the B chord. And then your pickup notes coming again the same way. So coming out here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2. If you want to have a double stop there, 2nd fret of the E, that's good. If it's too much, don't worry about it. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and you'll hit your E again. 1 and 2 and 3 and all that's the same as we have been doing, those 3 beats over the E chord. And then the B part really finishes out with this little arpeggio that we're going to do in a simple way. If you know the simple improv arpeggio lick, that's what's going to be happening here. You're going to be in F sharp, starting on the 4th fret of the D. You play yourself there, down, down, up. Then you're going to come through the chord tones, the arpeggio, starting with the 1st fret of the A, 4th fret of the A, and then the top note of the F sharp chord, which is the F sharp. Yeah, 1 and a 2 and 3. And then you'll come back into the A part, and we're almost done. Okay, so coming out of that 3 beats of the E, the last part of the B, and you're going to come to this F sharp little arpeggio thing. Now it's going to be really tricky to get back to your middle finger note on the 4th fret of the D for your pickup notes, but you can do it. If that's too troublesome at this point, you can just start off doing a little bit easier. You could play that note twice and then come to your 6th fret of the A and walk it up like that, you know. Again, it's going to be a little bit of a quick transition from that last 2nd fret of the E note to your 6th fret of the A. Either way, it's going to be something kind of tough. You got to have some pickup notes. So you can start off with that, and then down the road you can get... It's not that much trickier to get the official pickup notes in there. And if you want to get the upstroke, you can do that. Okay, so let's play the whole B part. Okay, so we can come out of the 3 beats of the E. Do a little fill, walk it up. Dun, 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 dun. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and here's your F sharp. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and this is the A part coming back. That's the head. Dun 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 boom 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 boom. So the A part plays one more time at the end of the B part. You can think about the whole form as A A B A. Okay, and when we get to the last bar of the head, the final A part before the form repeats, before the next person plays, you can do this little fill right here. All right, so this is an arpeggiation, starting on the 2nd fret of the A, down, down, up, 6th fret of the A, 2nd fret of the E. Your last note would be little finger note, get a little finger in the game here a little bit, 7th fret of the E. All right, 1 and 2 and 3. So that comes at the end of the A part. Start chopping. So that's the whole thing. Let's play the whole arrangement together slowly. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 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 2, and 3, and 1. So you might tell that as I was offering you some little different things that you can do here and there with the rhythms and the pick strokes and the notes themselves, it can change a little bit from time to time. That's good, as long as the shape of the melody is staying the same, basically, and you're getting the chord tones in the right places for the main melody notes, okay? So now let's add some upstrokes and just see what happens. Maybe go a little faster. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 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 two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a one, and a two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a one, and a two, and three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a one, and a two, and a three, and four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a one, and a two, and three, and four, and one, and a two, and a three, and four, one, and a two, and a three, and four, and one, and a two, and a three, and four, and one, and a two, and a three, and a one, and a two, and three. There you have it, neighbors. Let's play it a little quicker. One of the advantages of learning a simple beginnermediate level arrangement is that when you push it up in speed, it becomes more of an intermediate level skill. That's kind of one of the best parts about it. So let's play it a little quicker to see what happens. 1, 2, 3. I think that sounds pretty good. One of the things I just want to point out as we're wrapping up here is that when you're playing your upstrokes on the 3 beats of the E, if you're moving on the upstroke, that's going to create the staggered sound that we use a lot in the Monroe style. So if you play your downstroke on the 2nd fret of the D and then you're moving on an upstroke on each other note in that sequence, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's actually easier to play than down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's an advantage. It flows. And again, you know, when you get cruising faster, if you're moving on your upstrokes, totally good. So don't be too worried about having to move on your downstrokes all the time, especially when you're getting up in speed. All right. So there you have it, Rebecca at the beginner-mediate level with some nice little upgrades in there. Just when you get that staggered texture in there, immediately starts sounding like more like a Monroe style and the bluegrass, and which is different than Herschel's style, you know, but it plays a little bit easier up to speed. Some people think it's messy, but I think it's actually pretty impressionistic and crafty and very efficient for your economy of motion and all that kind of stuff. So if you like this lesson, please hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more of this content. And if you'd like to support this work, that'll be a wonderful way to contribute to the community. It could be good for your future learning and lots of other people. We want to continue to bring these videos out early in the week as much as we can. You can go to patreon.com/NoyaMountainMusic. You can find a good tier that fits with your budget there. There's the different rewards, the licks of the month on the mandolin and the guitar. 2 monthly workshops that are free, like, the family tier level of support. And there's also the note for note mandolin video and the note for note guitar video. There are a lot of rewards in there that you can benefit from if you want to support this channel. So that's all for now, neighbors, and we will look forward to continuing some of this beginner intermediate level stuff here as we're going through the summer.